here's the things that I'm going to be using for this project. As always, I'm always very flexible with showing you what you can do if you don't have my supplies. So paper, of course, watercolors, water, of course, a paintbrush, and a napkin. So, and a pencil. Yes, pencil. So everybody, no matter what you're going to be using, you're going to want a pencil for this one. So some alternative supplies if you don't have watercolors. You can use, of course, color pencil. Of course, it's going to look different, but that's okay. I can show you how to create that with color pencil if you'd like. You can also use washable markers, like maybe like the kids markers. I always have Crayola markers. Ta-da! These guys right here. I'm sure you can imagine what the package looks like, but I always have a packet of Crayola markers with me because if you apply water to them, then they end up looking just like watercolors afterward. Of course, if you happen to have watercolor markers, that would be amazing too. I always love watercolor markers too. What else? Of course, crayon can be used, but of course the look is going to be different. So again, if there's any alternative supplies that you have, please ask me and I'd be happy to show you how to use them and what you can do in its place. So for everybody else using your watercolors, we are going to make this very abstract flower type shape. And I started to create this because I'd been seeing a trend different places, mostly Pinterest, of people doing this type of shape, this sort of flower shape. And so I just thought, why don't I just jump on the bandwagon? Let's just do this thing, whatever this thing is. So I chose to do to create this using watercolor, and I had ocean and water and the beach on my mind. Even though I haven't been to the beach this year, it was just on my mind. So I chose to use sandy colors in here, colors that remind me of water. So that's the theme. However, like always, if you want to use your own colors in its stead, you can certainly do that. And once I get you guys started, I will look for another example. Oh, here we go. I have another example right here. This was actually my very first example before I settled on the watery themed one. So this one, it's an alternative. So if you wanted to later, after everything is dried, you can create your own type of pattern on top of it. Wow. In contrast, this one right here is very simple. So the only reason we're going to need that pencil is to do these very delicate pencil lines on the outside. So it's two different looks, but you can kind of pick and choose which one you like. This one was the main one. I'm going to be following this one. However, if anybody would like to revert back to this and take a look at this again, let me know. You can also take a picture on your phone. If you're using your computer, you can take a picture with your phone and you'll have it on your phone. So I'll just leave that up there for a second. So patterns, I always like to revert to the same patterns again and again, because why reinvent the wheel? Just keep doing the same thing and perfecting it and making it better every single time you do it. Are there any questions before we get started?
No. Can we improvise?
Yeah, improvise, please. Of course. This is a very creative class. I always encourage everyone to go off and do their own thing. So, and I'm here to help you, okay?
All right.
Okay, so.
Guys, yeah. Do you all have MS? Do you all have multiple sclerosis?
Yep. Yes, we do.
Okay.
Yes.
I don't. I actually am the executive director of the Multiple Sclerosis Foundation.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, Marcy. And I'm just along for the ride.
Yep.
That's okay. Yep. That's okay.
It's fun.
You look so good. You can't possibly have MS.
Right? You look so good. Yeah. So
Play
for
MS,
for
but
this,
MS doesn't have us, remember?
yep, remember that. That's for sure. So before I say a little bit about myself, I would like to get us started. I think that we can draw out to these little bubbles here. Maybe they're not bubbles, they're petals. They're not bubbles. I'm going to use my pencil and I'm going to write it or draw it very lightly. When I do this, I'm not going to push down my pencil very hard. However, for the sake of you guys and you guys being able to see what I'm doing, I will press down hard, but only because I want you guys to see. So I always like to start with a dot in the middle. Everything I do is going to come out of that dot. So when I create petal type things, I start on one end and then I go to the opposite end. Now, none of these petals should look the same. None of them should, I don't know, they should all be a little bit different. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Now I can go on this side, kind of create it that way. And I can fill in the blanks, always moving across the petal that I'm working on. Now this one, I'm intentionally making this one smaller because why not?
Infinities symbol.
Yeah, they're like infinities, exactly.
Mhm.
Now I have the up and down and the side to side ones. Now let's do across now. Across petals like that. And there you see, I didn't quite make it to the end, but that's okay. I'm not gonna sweat over it. Gonna jump to the opposite end here. This one just happens to be a little bit bigger. And that was an accident, but that's okay. And then anything else in between, I can either follow that same pattern or crisscross these lines. I always find it easier to crisscross my lines because then I don't have to worry about too much. And then let's see, I'm just gonna fill in the space here. Like that. At some point, you would have mostly crisscrossed paths every which way. So at some point, you may not even need to follow that same crisscross pattern. And then you can just go in and create these lines or these petals anywhere you see fit. They don't even have to be even. In fact, they look a lot nicer when they're not even. I don't know, at least I think they look a lot nicer when they're not even. I'm even going to add a little one behind here. And that'll be that. Then afterwards, we can add a little bit of color. So, any questions?
No for now.
Not yet.
No yet.
We'll get there. Marcy, have you ever done an art class before? Or have you ever done art before in general?
My children are artists. So my daughter went to a School of Art and Design in LA, and my son is a tattoo artist, and my youngest one is a musician. She played at Carnegie Hall when she was 14. And because where I'm living, they didn't have art and they didn't have music. So I taught music and art to my children.
Nice.
Very cool.
But I wanted them to be doctors and not artists and musicians. So I messed up.
Nah. That is a cool story though.
And I taught piano to the other children as well at my home.
Yes, brown.
I wish I could play piano.
Just get the book, get the children's book and read it. You will be able to play. Just follow the
Nice.
book. Because I didn't know how to play at all. I just had a strong desire to have my children learn. So I picked up the book, stayed a lesson ahead of them their whole life. And now they play beautifully. And I didn't know anything. I just had a desire.
Wow.
Just pick up the book and read and you'll be all right.
I like that. You didn't know, but you just had the desire for them to know, and you just went for it.
And
Very
I
cool.
I stayed ahead of them by at least 1 or 2 lessons.
Mm.
But you have to have a good ear for music, because if you don't have the ear, you have to know, you have to have a good ear. Yeah.
That wouldn't be me, that's for sure. Visual art's more my thing, but that doesn't mean I want to like shy away from it forever, doesn't mean I can't learn it.
Hannah, I never did visual art. So like all the other arts are more, but something about artistic process that here I am doing this.
Yeah, here you are. This is what, maybe your 5th or 6th lesson, perhaps?
I don't even think that much.
Wow. And Karen's really good at she always uses her tablet to make art.
My non-dominant hand. I couldn't even do it with my so-called dominant hand.
Yeah. Isn't that fantastic? Okay, so I want to I guess point out the colors that I have in this one. You can see that I have a very limited color palette here. So like I said, mostly just the beachy colors. So I've got my sand right here. I even mixed a little bit of white, so this one can be a little bit lighter. And don't worry, I will explain all this again. I just want to point out the colors. This one, I really didn't have like a set amount of colors. I just did whatever made me feel happiest at that time. So it's much more vibrant, definitely like booms out at you. So do we all have watercolors here today? Watercolors, I see some heads. Okay. It looks like
I'm using markers.
Okay, so you're using markers. Are they your fancy Tombos?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Perfect. So, for anybody using the watercolor markers or the like regular kids markers, like the Crayola markers, what you're going to start doing is, well, actually, we're all going to do this. We're all going to start coloring the back areas first. So these little petals that you squeezed in behind all the others in the front, we're going to start on those first. So you don't have to think about your colors just yet, but if you want to limit yourself, you definitely can. So this is where we'll start, and this will give us the freedom to squeeze in between some of these petals without really having to work so hard later on whenever we put these front colors first. We start from the back, work our way forward. So let me begin. I'm going to be using my watercolors. So of course I'm going to be grabbing my water. I do like to show how I grab water and how I grab colors. So I like to wet my paints first ahead of time. So just add like a little bit of water in each little dish here. There's a name for them, but I don't remember. So my blues, my purples. Now, sometimes you don't really need to do this, but I always do it anyway, just to be safe. Just tap a little in there and then move on. Now, I'm going to show you guys how to put in a darker color, and then afterwards, I'll show you how to put in a lighter color. So this is for those of you using watercolors. So I'm going to grab my color, and I'm not really going to worry too much about how much pigment is in my paint, I'm just going to grab it, twist my brush around, or if you're using a flat brush, you're going to tap it like this on both sides. For me, I have a pointy brush. So my paintbrush spent a lot of time in this little pile. So therefore, I'm going to have a lot of paint. And I'm going to start within this tiny little spot here. And I'm going to take my time scraping away from the little spot to the big spot. Now remember, this is hyper concentrated. I didn't add any extra water, just whatever was on my brush.
Oh, for some reason, it's not.
Now I need to refill my brush. What was that?
Just to
You
let
have
you
a
know, I
question?
know nothing about art, even though I encourage my children, I know nothing. Just like piano, I knew nothing.
I could have picked that up because you said, because Hannah said, have you done art? And you said, well, my kids do art. And it's like saying, yeah, I live near a gym, but I never go in there.
That's right, you're right. I know nothing.
Well, I can't wait to see what you make today.
I'm improvising if it's okay.
Yeah, improvise.
Again, I know nothing.
Have fun with it. That's what we're here for. We're
But
here
I'm
to
just
have fun.
happy that you're doing this. It makes my heart very happy that you're doing this.
Good. Well,
I've
we're
seen
glad you're here.
your YouTube channel, but I've never been here. But I go on the YouTube channel and the galaxy, I created the galaxy with the dots. Do you remember that?
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
That's why,
I
that's
enjoy.
why you look familiar. Yes.
So
I see.
no,
Go
I've
ahead.
never been in the class. I've just
Okay.
I've just gone to the YouTube and recreated some of the things you had on there.
Nice. So you did the galaxy dots.
Yeah, I love doing the galaxy.
Nice. Yeah, that one was fun. Just real quick, we'll continue the conversation, but real quick, what I did just now was I already had some of that same blue in my brush, and I wiped some of it off here. And then I went back and I added more water to that little pile of blue that was there. Now, this is my watered down color. I can definitely leave it the way it is. It's very watery. It's very, it will turn up very, very light, as you can see right here. See that? Very light on the picture. But you can always go back, grab more, take it away from it, the little paint pan here, and add it to your watery collection right here. Now, this is not an accurate way to measure, like if you're trying to be precise, this is not the way to do it. But if you're just looking for a lighter pigment, then you can certainly do it this way. So I know I started the opposite way from what I told you. So now I've got to just kind of squeeze it in here. Like so. And here's a cool little trick. I just want to show you real quick while it's still wet. You see how it's very watery wet right here? If I wanted to do a cool little effect, I could take either the same color or another color. And right here where it's very wet, I can tap it and you'll see some of that color travel upwards. I think it'll make more of an impact with a different color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add more water, like my same watery blue, rinse it, show you how to mix a different color right there. Let's just do, I guess I'll just do purple. Let's just add purple. So you can take it where it's very wet and watery, tap it and watch the water take the color away like that. See that? There it is a little bit closer. See that? That's just how you create a cool effect. I didn't actually do that on the original picture. So if you don't like that, don't do that. I am, however, going to clean up this little spot here. So we're going to want to rinse our brush if we want to clean that up. Rinse it, tap it slightly dry on your napkin, just slightly dry, and then take it and redirect that pigment. See that? Taking it and dragging the pigment that's already there. And I'm blending it and working it into the drawing. Any questions?
Well, I'm using the pen market, so the water market. So I'm having a little hard time
Oh, okay.
because I never used it before.
Let me see if I can grab mine. Do you have the Tombow markers like Casey has? Okay, looks like it. Let me grab mine. That's that way I can show you guys. They're here somewhere. I swear I'm constantly rearranging this place. Okay, here we go. Got a nice little greeny teal color. So for anybody using the markers, so any of the markers will do. What you'll want to do is point your brush in here. Now I accidentally grabbed a different brand, but hopefully it'll still spread.
Everything is the same.
Yeah, it's a different brand, but that's okay. So I started in the middle here. And then now I'm fluffing it out. And then hopefully this brand actually spreads.
It's the same. Artisa, and it's the same.
Oh, it's the same? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. Let's see. So I started on the side that's very, very dark and has a lot of color. And I'm using the water to spread it outward. So I'm going to grab it some more. If I need to get more water, and I do, I'm going to get more water. So grab it from where you started, from where it has the most color, and then spread it outward.
Wow.
How do you feel about that, Merle?
Yes, I think it's better. So let me show you. You know,
Yeah.
and that once I dumped the paper before that I paint, so it was much easy. It's like the pen.
Oh, okay. So once you wet the paper, is that what you
Yeah,
said?
yeah.
Okay.
That one.
There you go. I love that color too.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. There's the cayenne blue.
Ha.
A159.
A159.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna look for it, but there's a lot of colors in there.
Oh yeah.
I think somebody donated those colors to me one time.
Oh, this is a case 96 pencils.
Huh.
Yes, yes, it was a gift.
Oh, nice. It's the best
Yeah.
gifts, right?
Yeah.
So this is really just one of those projects where you just work on it one by one and see what comes of it. So I'm here for any technical difficulties like Merle mentioned, but anyone else feel free to ask me away. I'm using another one of those Artisa markers. So now that I have a lot of color on one end, I'm going to take my clean brush and drag that pigment into those areas that need the color, like so. So you can develop a little technique this way if you wanted to, where you can intentionally start on the places where you want them to be darker. And this actually goes for those using watercolor as well. You can intentionally start on those areas that you want to be darker and pull the paint little by little towards the middle. So let's say I'm using the watercolors. And here we go. So let's say maybe I want my darkest color to be right over here, and I want it to be lightest right over here. So here's what I can do. I guess I'll use purple this time. So with my darkest color, I'm taking my non-watered down, well, let me clarify that. Non-watered down too much paint, if that makes sense. And starting in this area right here where it's supposed to be the darkest. Drag that paint outward. And if you want it to blend, unfortunately, you'll have to work kind of fast. I'm going to stop right there, take some water. In fact, I accidentally rinsed my brush. Hold on. I'm going to reapply paint real quick. Okay, so 1 dip of water. And then I'm going to drag this paint out. Now that's not enough for me. I'm going to go back and I am going to intentionally rinse my brush now. I'm going to use water here. I'm starting on the clean side, dragging it towards my color. Slowly dragging this color inward. And voila. There we go. It's so quiet. Concentration mode. I'm going to ask what I always ask. Okay. Has anybody done anything creative this week?
Yeah, I did a sunset.
Oh, you made a sunset. No way.
Yeah.
Didn't you do a waterfall last week?
We did, yes.
Yeah, okay, that's nice.
I did another one of those paintings similar to what you did, but I used some other colors instead.
Oh, I'm going to spotlight you. Oh, you even framed it. That's really nice.
This frame is about 20 years old.
That's awesome, Tony.
Yeah, I love that.
Thank you.
How in the world did you get the colors to not mix very much?
I did that one.
Oh, nice, really.
Oh,
Let me,
Yes.
so 1 second. I'm trying to get to you, Merle. 1 second. Okay. You're getting there. Okay, finally found you. Oh, there you did.
Wow.
Oh, that's so nice.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Wow, your color choices are so pretty.
oh, thank you.
Seriously, that's really nice. I can never choose the right sunset colors. I feel like you did such a good job with it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Very cool. Thank you for sharing.
No,
Great,
thank you.
Love it.
That's
Who
awesome.
else? Anybody else like to share?
I have something to report.
Yeah.
You know, I looked at the MS Focus Your Art classes.
Mhm.
Because, you know, at first I thought, why didn't I know about this? I should have done this. And I realized, so I looked at some of the things you did and I thought, no, I wasn't ready. I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have been
Really?
that, you know, just since whatever last year that
Uh-huh.
little dip into it. And there's an
Oh.
organization called reimagine.org, and mostly they deal with about death, like how to about grief and dying. And they
Mhm.
also moved into illness, because you know when they talk about grief, I'm like, yeah, like how about losing your function? So there was a
Yeah.
workshop by an artist named, I think, Yona Harvey. I could look it up. And they said, you know, you're gonna do writing and I think she's like Guggenheim Fellowship in comics,
Oh, wow.
like serious comics. I'll find the
Wow.
link because I know
Yeah.
you would want to do it, because she said, well, I'd like to try writing. So I couldn't put it all in the same thing, but you had writing and you had drawing, and it kind of takes you out of your head. I never would have signed up. I'm like, what am I doing? I can't draw cartoons. I can't do anything like that. I'm gonna see if I have my, just like even one thing that I did with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I just thought I can't do that. And I loved the whole process of how she takes you out of your head. It was a little scary at first because you're like, what am I gonna have to share what I wrote? I don't have to share what I wrote.
Yeah.
But you don't. It's just to kind of get you out of your head and into and she starts out with, I'll show you my first one. And she starts out with, you name your character, you know, and she said, I'm going to be Jukebox. So I said, okay, I'll be Opulescent. I don't know, but it just kind of get, okay, so here's, I don't know if you can see it. You know, I should get my video. I should just take off the.
Yeah. Let me
So it was
add
like,
you to
well,
the
here,
spotlight.
I'm going to change, I'm going to get the filter out so that, so it should be like, because I do understand the art, you know, creative arts.
Yeah.
I understood what she was doing. I mean, at first I was like, but I don't want to share what I wrote. And it's going to be recorded like yours.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh, yay. So it's good. So I'll be able to access it.
you'll be able to do it, and then you'll be able to write.
Nice.
Oh, I wish I could write, you know, but it's just taking you, I don't know if it took me into the nun. It's not, now it shut me out.
Yeah, we can't
Yeah,
see you.
don't give me any background studio effects, but it's not working.
I'm gonna try to see if I can find it for you. Are you on a computer?
I see it, yeah, but I mean, I see it and I'm clicking none. So then I'm thinking, well, what is it?
Oh, okay. Huh.
What about it don't you like about the nun? But maybe there's, like, I gotta move that screen so it'll say save it. No, it's just not working. You know how that is, technology.
Yeah, yeah.
Just misbehaving. Okay, I'm gonna give up on that. I don't know if you can see it, but
yeah, maybe we'll get lucky. Okay, maybe not.
oh yeah, I know you have to get it in that right spot. You sort of
Yeah.
can see, but you know, I can't even do that, like drawing.
I see the eyes.
Even that.
Oh, nice. Nice. No, I see the eyes. I see the head.
And it was just, you just said, like, do a self-portrait of who you are, but it was like, well, I'm opulence. You know, I'm not who I was. You know, it's like, just, she takes you out of your head, like right away. And then, well, maybe that's why it didn't work. I don't know. You see the body? Probably not.
No, I wish
And
I
then,
did though.
And so, you know, I just gave myself permission because you've given me permission, like how to dress. So I have like 1, 2, 3, there were like 6 drawings. And she takes you to this place of, you know, going someplace else and drawing where you are. And some of it's based on, I'm going to give up. I'm just going to go back to my painting.
Oh,
Some of it's
Oh,
just
man.
based on, you know, what you just wrote to yourself and like go to a
Uh-huh.
place and yeah, I mean, it took me back to my youth and draw
I'm
the places and
curious.
I just listen to you. It's like, you know, it doesn't matter, you know, if it looks like something or whatever, it just doesn't
Mhm.
matter. But it was so satisfying. And I thought about you. I was like, oh, you really
Oh, I would love to do that myself, though.
I'll find the link for it.
Yeah, yeah. I wanted to give a small tutorial on how to create like a sandy color in case you wanted that. You can kind of see that I started it right here. This is leftover, I think, from what I did earlier, but it usually just depends on what you've got. But typically, if you have like if you have white, orange, and brown, it should be easy enough. Now you might have to really play with the colors here. Like a sandy color is not really going to be the easiest color to make, I'll be honest, but I'm going to add a little bit of that. Well, I'm going to go ahead and make it in front of you actually. So I added that orange. I probably added a little too much orange, so I actually am going to take away some. I took it away with the paintbrush. Now, I failed to mention yellow. So yellow, orange, white, and brown. I don't always remember the mixture, like the proportions of each. Sometimes it just depends on your type of orange. So just kind of bear with me. I'm adding more orange to this pile here. Now, every time I go to add another color, I'm rinsing my brush. So it might seem like a little bit of a waste, you know, because you're grabbing some color. Then you're kind of rinsing it all away. But it's just kind of how you make these colors. There we go. If you want to, I guess, save some of your color, you can scrape some of it on the side here. So far, I only have like a light brown here. I'm going to add more yellow to see if I can balance this out. Let's try scraping it. There we go. That helps. Scrape it from the side there. And I am going to add a little more orange. See what that gets me. Anytime you're doing art, it's really all about balance. Balancing your colors, balancing your composition, just trying to balance. I think that's sometimes that's the best we can do, is just try to do these things. And that
You know
is
what?
okay.
I always told my kids that art is in the eyes of the beholder, so there's no such thing
Yes,
as art.
absolutely.
So that they felt encouraged when they did it. So if I'm worse, so I'm my worst critic.
And that's true. Like, we're always our own worst critic. I can attest that a lot of times the work that I don't think is worthy, that I don't like, that I've struggled with the hardest, and those pieces of work that I don't feel a connection to, oftentimes lots of other people will have a connection to it.
Yeah.
And even just one other person may have a connection to it too.
Can I show
And
a piece?
yeah, go for it.
If I can.
Yeah. While she's looking for her piece, I just want to show you my little sandy color here. So I worked with it. I added a little bit more of different colors just to try and balance it out. The last color that I added was, last two colors were the white and a little bit more yellow, and that's all I needed for my new color. New sandy color.
Can you see it?
Yes, I thought I saw that. Let me spotlight you.
Oh yeah, nice.
There it is.
It's paper mache as well as, so it's supposed to look like bricks.
Wow.
Nice. That is, wow, that is really amazing. So did you do the paper mache before everything else?
Yeah, it was a process. I shaped out the lion with the paper mache, and I made it like brickwork, like bricks.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I I colored them in. I don't know if you know ancient Sumerian, the walls of the ancient buildings.
No, no. Please tell
This
us.
this is something that was on the walls of the building, so it's supposed to look aged and old,
Yeah.
So that's one of the things I've done.
Nice.
Yeah. When did you do that?
Oh, 2 years ago about.
Wow. How long did it take you?
Oh, probably took me, because you know what took the longest is drying the paper mache. For the paper mache to dry.
Yeah, yeah, that takes a while.
So that it wouldn't get moldy, to dry that out was the hardest.
Nice.
I mean, it's not that great, but it keeps you busy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Paper mache is not the easiest thing to work with either.
So I'm working on another piece, the ancient Sumerian art. It's going to be the same concept with the paper mache, and they're ancient. It's a really big piece, though. It's going to go over my fireplace. So
Nice.
What do you
So-
mean by Sumerian art?
Babylonian. Back the stuff I'm doing is back to the time of the Babylonians. Let me see.
Okay.
See.
I think my tan color looks very, very much like skin color too. Just thought I'd throw in an observation there.
Well, there's all colors of skin.
Yep.
I don't know if you could see, but this is like a piece that I'm working on now. It's a Babylonian,
Oh, lovely.
like an angel.
Yeah, I see it now.
And
I am familiar
that's-
with that iconography. I've seen it before.
And then the middle is the tree of life. And they're tending to it. The angels are tending to the tree of life. It's an ancient Sumerian or Babylonian.
Wow. How long did it take you to draw that?
Oh, the drawing is not the hard part. Is going to be the paper mache.
Ah, okay.
Because you're sculpting, after you draw it, you're going to be sculpting, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So that's going to be the hard part.
Yeah.
But my hands are not steady like they used to be. I drop things and I shake so bad. So like it's takes you longer when your body is like that. You all have MS, right?
You're
Mhm.
not alone.
Right, but
My hands shake a lot. So Santana, I'm not sure if it has MS or Parkinson.
right, because we shake so much,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
What kind of paper do you use it for paper mache?
I use there's this stuff you can buy at I guess what did I get it at, Michael's or the hobby place? I don't remember where I got it, but it's a bag of it's like paper all crunched up. It already has the glue on it, so you just add the water.
Oh,
Then I apply it to the canvas. Then I make
Okay.
have to do the details of the wings and the details of the hat and the details of the face. And so you have to, it's a process. You can't do it all at once. You got to do piece by piece,
oh,
Yeah. And then once it's all dry, then you have to paint it. But that's going to be easy to paint because on the walls, the ancient walls where everything was getting old and the colors were faded and what have you, it's going to be like that. It's not going to be like brilliant colors like the it's going to be more aged, So
How are you gonna make that aged look?
I'm going to use paint.
Okay. Yeah.
I might use a sponge,
yeah,
sponge
sponge
on
will
like
work.
spots. I'm not too
Mhm.
sure yet. But I think like
Yeah.
but one thing good about the paint is like if you don't like it, you could always fix it.
Yep. You can always go
Yeah.
over it.
Yeah.
I
Because
love
my
acrylics.
the blue is a little too bright. I'm gonna tone it down. I'm gonna do when I get time, I'm gonna dull the blue down a bit because the original is more like a navy blue. You know, the original. So I might tone it down a bit.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, do you have an idea of how you might tone it down?
Yeah, I'm just gonna go in there and darken it up a little bit. It doesn't have to
Yeah.
change much, just, you know, darken it up a little bit. You can keep a lot of what you have, just put a little bit more dark in it in the bricks.
Yeah. Or a little
And
brown works too.
right.
Put a little brown too.
And that's gonna be good enough.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's not for anybody, it's just for my house, you know, so it's not for anybody. So
That
whatever happens, happens. Like
those
the beautiful sunset, right? Wasn't that gorgeous? With the palm tree, the one that just showed us her,
the one that Merle showed us.
right? She can frame that and put it up in her house and it'd be beautiful.
It is beautiful. Can't say it enough how much I love those colors.
Yeah.
Well, that makes me happy that you're doing all those extra projects, Marcy. I need to I keep telling myself this, but I need to make some time for my own work because I don't know, I just haven't been able to do some of my works, and I've been wanting to go back to the work that I did before I was diagnosed with MS.
Right.
Might be a little journey to get there, but I think it's doable now, especially now that I have like a better control over mind over matter, I guess that's a better
Yeah.
way to put it.
Yeah. Well, me, I ignore the diagnosis. I ignore it.
Mm,
I reject it.
you reject it. I like
reject
that.
You know, so, and my whole house got the COVID and I rejected it and I didn't get it.
Oh my goodness.
My husband, my girls, they all got the COVID and I did not.
You didn't. Yeah, when I was first diagnosed, I kept thinking of MS as this little monster or like this little thing in the back of my head.
Right.
And it was like, I don't know, it's hard to describe. It was like this little thing that was there, and it was like its sole mission was to get in my way.
Wow.
Like it was just there to get in my way and mess things up, trip me, make me imbalanced or something. And so I don't know, but it just helped to envision it as something. And that I think that envisioning it as something sort of helped me to tell it to go away and tell it
Right.
not to bother me as much. Not that it cured me, definitely did not cure me, but I think it helped mentally to, you know, not get over it, but deal with it or cope with it, I guess.
Did you know what MS was? Because when they told me I had MS, I didn't know what the heck they were talking about.
Oh yeah, no, I did not. No. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I didn't know anything.
No.
I did, but
No.
that's because my mom and sister have it.
Yeah.
And that's the
Yeah.
hard thing. Like my mom, her course was really bad. And so that's what I thought about. But she had it. I mean, she died when I was 16. There was no medicine then.
Right.
So I think about my journey now, and I've been on medicine since I was diagnosed in 2004, things she never had. So.
Mm-hmm. And remind me again, Brandy, how long have you been diagnosed?
2004. So I guess
Okay,
almost 20 years, 18.
Okay.
I was
Gotcha.
told there'd be no math here, so.
I know. Don't worry. That's the extent of it.
Well,
How many days has it been, Brandy?
All of them.
I can't even do that. Yeah, my diagnosis day was just recent, actually. It was June 28th. Yeah, June 28th. And that was my 5-year mark. So Yeah, I told myself I was gonna go and like do some self-care or something. I don't know, buy myself something. Didn't get around to it, but it's still on my radar. I'm still gonna do it. On my first year of diagnosis, I actually had like a celebration with my friends, because like my whole point of view, like my way of life, my point of view on life, everything was just turned upside down. And
Yes.
I was a complete, yeah, I was a completely changed different person, but
Yeah.
for the better. So I just decided I'm gonna celebrate that part of the diagnosis and just make it a fun day, you know,
Yeah.
turn it into something positive.
Oh, yeah. So I will celebrate too because at the same time I got the diagnosis for the mass. They find lumps in my breast. So and the doctor said it's suspicion cancer, and I said, well, I don't know what is better. So this I catch an early stage the cancer. So in a year I'll be fine. But if I got a mass, it's for the rest of my life. So it was my soul, you know. But finally, just I got a messy anyway. So I'm happy, I'm grateful that I had a match, you know, another worse diseases because they are worse, like the LEA, so this Parkinson even is worse. So that's, I feel blessed that I had the MS, you know, another worse thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I was in that dilemma. So what it was better, the cancer in my breast, in my breast?
Man, so
No,
scary though.
now I say I don't have to worry about getting cancer. That's like at my age, I'm like, okay, I don't have to worry about that. So can I show you what I've done? I did get rid of that screen.
Yes,
No, I have
please
my palettes on the tablet. So
I'm looking
I
for your
kind of went
screen. There
with
you are.
I went with sort of your color, and so now what? Oh, you can't really see the color too
Oh,
well.
I
But
like
I'm
it.
like, what are the color? You know, they're on my palette, like the blue and the pink and the
Oh, I
same.
see. On the side there. Man, I like your arrangement though. Like if I'm looking at this correctly, I think I see a range of peaches, like from tan to more pink. Um
I'm
I
cheating.
think
You know, they give me a palette, and I used a couple of palettes,
uh-huh.
so I am cheating. You know, I was like, okay. And actually, I feel more empowered, even though I cheated. I was like, I didn't do exactly what Hannah did. I could do my own. So,
You can't
but what
you
about the
can.
other, like, what do you think in those other two spots?
Those so it's just the two spots, right?
Yeah, that need something.
Yeah, just the two spots. I would say maybe on the one that is closest to the more pinkish looking one, the brighter pink one, maybe put another color that is on more on the tan side,
Uh-huh.
a little more sandy,
Okay.
and then perhaps another one that's more on the pinkish side on
Okay.
for the remaining one.
So sandier than the so-called yellowish sandy color.
Yes.
Sandy.
Yeah, that way, yeah, like the sandier yellow next to the pink, and then the pink, the one that's more pink next to
But what would be sandier than whatever is there?
I would
Browner?
say
More
I
yellow?
wish more yellow, more yellow.
Okay.
Yeah, I would consider that more sandy.
It actually even looks better in person. I didn't think I could, and my pencil was too dark, so I spent a lot of time erasing. That's the
Oh, I
advantage
see.
of the tablet. Well, the cleanup, you know, with a paralyzed
Mhm.
hand and a left hand that doesn't work. I like the cleanup here.
The cleanup, yeah. Well, I think about that ever since you mentioned it to me. I think it was like the first or second art class I ever did with you and the rest of the ANCAN team. Um, I I remember you saying that, and it just sort of resonated with me. Because I'm so used to having paint on me all the time that I just don't even think about it. But, you know, the cleanup is a big issue. It's a big deal.
Well, for me, definitely.
For sure. Yeah. And honestly, cleanup was a big deal for me too, but I just kind of, I just bumble through life and
But you have to do it. So that makes
yeah.
sense.
Yeah, it's just kind of one of those things that you have to do. So I've added my very last color. I don't know where you guys are at. But I've got my last color there. I have to say, I'm pretty proud of myself for limiting my color palette. I want you guys to think about what you're proud of yourself for too, because that's just as important as actually making the artwork too. So is there anyone who wants to show us what you're doing?
I'll go. I'm done with mine.
Yeah, Susie, let me
Yeah,
put
let's
you up
see.
there.
Yeah.
There you go.
Ooh.
Yeah, so
See, and you even have the patterns. I love that. Your color choice is so nice too.
thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
Gosh, I
great.
love that.
I started with trying to do a couple colors and then I like, oh, this color will work too. So I got kind of crazy with my colors, but
Yet you still managed to keep it pretty limited though. Like I still love the combo.
oh, thank you. Yeah, there's like 5 colors, I think there is. But
Nice.
yeah.
Nice. Yeah, something I forgot to mention, but if you wanted to put that pattern, definitely wait for it to be more on the drier side. So yeah, and this is why we're not doing that in this class. It's purely color right now. Anybody else want to show?
I'm a rebel. You want to see a rebel?
Yes. Okay, here you are. There you go. Is that the marigolds?
Kind of, right? Like a chrysanthemum or something.
Yes, it's so pretty.
Looks like wallpaper.
Yeah, I like your colors.
Hey, I admire wallpaper.
Looks like wallpaper, right?
I love it though. It looks really good. Well, your petals look very intricate. That's what I like about it. Very
Mine
cool.
turned
Thank
into an
you.
orchid.
Oh, I love that. Looks like a, can I say, it looks like
Wow, Casey.
that's
Yeah.
I can't see it. Oh.
Oh,
Oh,
wow. That's cool.
That's so pretty.
I like the
Beautiful.
colors. I like the colors.
Mhm.
yeah.
I love what you did. Just like the way you arrange the colors. That's what I love about it too.
I love that yellow.
Mhm.
It really brings out the rest of the whole flower. It really brings out the rest.
Thank you. Who is next? Tony. Gonna put you up here. There we go.
Whoa.
Oh, that was cool.
That looks like a burst
Yeah.
of color, burst of something.
It almost looks 3D to me.
Yeah.
Almost looks like it
Mhm.
pops out. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool, Tony. That's
It's
really
very-
cool.
It's very bubbly.
Yeah.
And I like how you took to heart, like do a couple like different sizes. That makes it pop.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, yeah, it looked like
Very
3D. I was like, oh, it's coming out.
Right. Me too.
Yeah, like, whoa.
Wow. Super cool. Thank you, Tony. Anyone else?
I'm almost
Anyone?
done. I think I'm
Oh,
done.
thank you.
Yeah.
And every time I do this, it's for me like, what the hell? How do I use this program? How do I get this color to do what I wait? Where did the palette go? It's driving me crazy.
There you go. There you
Yeah.
did it. Yep, you did it.
It's well
That is
balanced.
lovely. It is well balanced.
I couldn't have done it without you.
I was gonna suggest like a gray when you asked, but you had two colors that were kind of on the side, and I thought, oh, that wouldn't be weird, probably. It's great.
Then I'm
Yeah, it
learning
looks
when I use the
it's good.
pencil, like if I press too dark, it lightens everything up. So for me, this exercise, like you said, it's all about the color.
If you press hard, it goes dark. It goes
Lighter. It's like
lighter.
water, it's the watercolor brush. You know, there's all these
Oh.
different things like calligraphy, but
Oh,
Nice, Marlon.
I like
Oh,
Marley.
there's-
Yes, nice
There's
Marley.
Marley.
Oh, and she even put a leaf in the stem.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, look at
And look at her
that.
nails.
Uh-huh.
I got your glasses.
Wow.
Right.
Wow, Marley, that's so pretty.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And your leaves are so pretty too.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Everything's is so different, but yet they're all so beautiful.
Mhm.
Oh, thank you.
I was really drawn to the more darker colors. I wanted to do that. But then I
Yeah.
thought, well, no, explore this watercolor thing. Like, isn't that I would just, you know, that each time I make something, it's different.
Yeah. I mean, I love that you're really exploring, and I think that's the key word for honestly any kind of artwork, like anything, any interest, anything you want to get better at.
Oh, yeah.
Explore it. Have
If
fun
I
with
thought I
it.
wanted to get better, I wouldn't do it. It's just,
Too much pressure.
no pressure, no pressure.
Nope. Anyone else like to share?
Oh, working.
Yeah, still working. Actually, I actually do still have one more little thing. It's an optional thing. I showed you guys earlier this one and how it had these loose pencil marks right on top of it. So after it becomes a little more dry, I think mine is dry enough. I think it's been maybe 2 or 3 minutes since I put my last bit of paint on here. Go ahead and take your pencil, and if you like this effect, it's just a very loose sort of aesthetic effect. So if you like it, you can add it. If not, don't add it. But you start in the center and basically retrace your steps, but not really. See how I'm going very loosely. I definitely don't want to spend too much time in any one spot, because then that's going to cause me to try to make it even, and that's not what we're going for. So very loosely retracing our steps, making some of these lines a little bit bigger, make some of these sections a little bit bigger, but we don't want it to completely follow our footsteps here like that. Play around with those lines. If they go off the page a little bit, then your pencil will have to go off the page just a little bit too. But that's it. That's the last step for this particular one. If you're doing these, then I would definitely wait a little bit longer for it to be dry. And then if you want to, you can go over top of it with a Sharpie marker or any other bold pen that you might have lying around. Just beware though, we do want it to be dry, because if it's not, then the water will probably make it bleed a little bit.